My God, Eric, you should just fucking hire me. Like, you just go enjoy your life with your kids and focus on them and just let me manage your fucking money. Like, Jesus. Uh, so I wanna touch on this more in depth because obviously I am not a financial planner. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. It's the one, the only. Starktopus, baby! I'm not doing that other dumbass part. Um, but anyway, I've been following Catapult for a while now. Led me down a road when I've basically been linking, the fucking, the Spice Force 5, the Hedge Force 5, all those top 5 hedge funds that are short in every fucking retail stock out there and then some. That's how they make their living. That is literally how these guys make their living, by destroying small companies. That's what they did. So let me scale this back for you just a bit. This is where they fucked up and got my attention. Right here. Right yeah. It was earlier this month. Now, when I started noticing a lot of stocks opening up and having these gigantic gaps down, and then I started looking into them more, all of them started linking to Citadel, Simplex, Susquehanna, all them guys. Um, but this bad boy right here, this is GME and AMC in early February. Right after January, basically, is what you have the opportunity to get in on. Um, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if you were looking for a really good short squeeze play with the potential to make money like GameStop did in January, um, this is set up exactly like that. You have a bullshit, absolute bullshit shorting. Company's doing good, running up, doing its thing, reaches around 20, and some hedge funds go, you know what? I don't like them. And thus begins the play. This is the bankruptcy play. This is it in a fucking nutshell. This is the bankruptcy play. And this is why the float shows there being like 140% of the stock total. Remember how I've talked about it's not uncommon to see 100 to 120% of shares outstanding, of the float, due to naked shorting, legal ones, like legitimate ones. But then it's not uncommon to sometimes see 140, 150, which is very, very rare. And usually when you see that, it's something's going on. It usually raises a red flag, and um, that usually means there's some illegitimate naked shorting going on to get to that type of number. And this is how you run into, like hundreds of percents of the stock being short because they shorted a bunch of shares that didn't exist. And that's how you bankrupt a company. And the goal, as I've stated many times, this is a literal play. You can go study up on it. You'll run into it. You'll see charts that'll show you the play. This is it. And when I saw this shit, I had to keep my composure, do a little more work, study it a little more, see if there is even any particular reason to jump into it. Is it going to be a potential short squeeze play? And again, this is just for educational purposes. Everything I'm talking about is pretty much hypothetical. Um, you know, that's why I wanted to show you guys what a real stock fighting for its life looks like. When you have retail buyers, when you have little guys fighting the big guys, and you see these fights, and I made that video showing you the battle at $5. That's legitimate. You hear a lot about that shit in AMC and in GME, the battle for this price, the battle for this price. And that's because they were in the midst still of their bankruptcy play. It was still ongoing. And then they finally caught them, and they didn't get to finish it. And now they're fighting a bunch of money coming in, and it's dangerous if they let it get out of control. And there is a possibility that this thing gets out of control. There's a very, very good possibility this gets out of control now, because someone fucked up and allowed this thing to hit a gainer list today. They allowed it to hit a top gainers list. Fucking stupid, dumb. And the only thing I can think is some of the smaller hedge funds that wanted to get in on the big money action of the big boys. That September 3rd date's coming up. Next week, there ain't going to be no excuses. 25 times margin requirements. That's it. Some of these little guys had to get out. They didn't have a choice. And that pinged on the radar of a lot of retail. And that was the one thing missing. You need to have retail sentiment for the stock. And they have to have interest. They have to know about it. I don't have a platform big enough to talk about fucking potential short plays. It's not going to reach anybody. Not enough people, at least. But this one, this shit right here, this is literally GME. This right here is GME. This is what this shit was before it had its big ass run up in January. This is what this was. And they need to keep it under 5. Because if this thing goes over 5, it's going to 10. It is most definitely going to 10. And not even a month ago is where it was at 10, and they shorted the shit out of it to get it down to 3. The next move was going to be the killing blow. That was going to be the kill shot. Bankruptcy is in your future. Nothing you can do. Nothing. Look at this. This is an entirely controlled stock. All of this is controlled. Every bit of this is controlled. This is all them. All of them. And look at the chart now. This is fighting. This is a battle. This was a run. This was an attempt to block, which they did. Good for them. Nice block. If this carries the traction it has now, if more people start talking about this, if guys with bigger platforms start covering this, you have an opportunity here again. An opportunity again. You know how they said, oh, there's never going to be another opportunity like AMC or GME? They're full of shit because they're all over the place, actually. They're fucking everywhere. It's not as rare as we thought. It's not as rare as it was pushed to be. This is how these hedge funds operate. This is what they do to many, many stocks. That's how they make their money. They find small stocks with not a lot of retail interest, and they try to destroy them. And they tried to do this throughout the duration of the pandemic. They were trying to find little companies and just crush them, take advantage of it, and make a bunch of money off of it. Now, don't get me wrong. This could be killed. This needs to gain traction. This needs to have a lot of people involved in it, paying attention to it. But, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, today alone, this thing traded more than the outstanding and the float combined is how much volume it saw today. Do you fucking see this? Do you see that? That's not returns, baby. That ain't none of these returns or anything. A little bit of it might have been. A little bit of it. I think this day right here, I think these 2 days here kind of kicked off the return, the smaller shorts getting out a week before. They're going to get their shit in order this week before the margin requirement shit takes effect. I think it takes effect this next trading week. It's implemented Friday, I believe, but it doesn't really take effect until the following trading week. I believe. I could be wrong. It may take effect immediately Friday. I know most policies, they're usually implemented on a Friday or a Monday, whenever it is, but they typically don't start like their actual effective date until the next trading week, the first day of the next trading week. But I know this was a different case. This was an effective immediately thing, blah blah blah. So it may be right on Friday. I don't know. But I just want you to understand something. Once again, they lied when they told you there would never be an opportunity like AMC or GME again, because there is one right here. There is fucking one right here. Yeah, I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute. This is obviously going to go one or two ways. There's either going to be a bunch of people pouring into this. These guys have been shorting since $20, since 20, to push it down and get it down to $3. They've almost doubled the amount of shares that are actually outstanding. Yeah. Yeah. This thing starts running. Retail catches wind of this and it starts running. This is bad, like, for them. They don't need or want to be focusing on this shit right now. They've got bigger fish to fry, bigger things to worry about. This here could take off in, like, this week. This could take off and we could see a huge fucking move. Very, very possible. I literally couldn't believe how the battle at 5 was playing out. I thought for sure that they were going to just destroy that, shove it back down. I wasn't 100% positive if retail could have any effectiveness in this battle, and it damn sure looked like it did today. I will say that 100%. And no one even knows about this yet. No one. No one's talking about Catapult. Nobody. Because they've done a hella good job covering up the short interest for what they've done. And they haven't fucked up and allowed it to hit a top gainers list. Which that is where retail investors go. They go to different sites, or they go to Robinhood, or they go wherever. They go to the top gainers list and they try to scalp for the day. That's what most of retail does. So this is going to go one of two ways. Retail is going to catch wind of this and pour in. But this thing is so cheap right now that, it would be a wasted opportunity for someone to, not delegate some of their portfolio to this just in case. Because sure, it could get crushed down. Most definitely could. I mean, if you have any semblance of understanding of how I've been telling you to trade, you're not going to lose much. Not going to lose a whole lot. But no different than support. Support was at like $8 the other day, and I wanted to get in, and that shit just ran up to fucking like $70. That shit ran up higher than AMC did, basically. From where it ran up to 70, AMC was already in the 30s when it ran up to 70. This shit went from like 8 and then jetted pretty much, like straight up there. So, you do what you need to do. There is no guarantee in anything. There's no guarantee in this. This could be tomorrow morning or in the after hours of the pre-market. One of these big assholes could come in and just short all of it back down again. But either way, if you got in before here, chances are very good anything that gets shorted down to scare anyone out, even if you're still holding, they're going to have to return those. So worst case scenario, you get your money back and maybe a little bit more. But this is my best kept secret, which can't be a secret anymore because it's on Gainer's list. I'm sure people are going to start talking about it, which is what it needed. It needed it. And I wasn't going to bring it up to you guys because I didn't want anyone from my channel pouring into this fucking thing with no other reason than I just showed it on my channel and told you about it. I could have told you about all this information earlier, but without having this day and without it watching it and seeing a battle take place that very much resembled retail fighting against hedge funds. You know, like I said, the shit's so cheap that what's the worst that happens? I mean, you lose a little bit of money. You can get a fairly sizable position in this for not a lot of scratch right now. I'm not by any means telling you to abandon AMC or anything. The one thing I'm not doing anymore, I am not all in on AMC. And whether you like it or not, too fucking bad. I went all in on AMC. I did do that. And I lost a lot of it. And like I said, had I left my portfolio the way it was, I would have made a lot of money already with all the other shit that I was invested in, that I was early in. Early in before other people started coming in and before I even knew that it had been shorted to death, and shorts are now returning the shit. And so I mean, I'm in AMC. I got my positions in AMC too, don't get me wrong. I'm very much tracking that shit, and still expecting a move, but this bad boy right here is set up to do something serious. It is set up to do some damage if retail catches a whiff of it. And I actually think it had some news too. I think some news came out on it, which is bad fucking news for shorts. That's the worst thing that can happen. That's the worst thing that can happen to a short position that's trying to bankrupt a company and no one knows or cares about the company or really knows who the company is or anything, is that it has some news come out and then people find out what it is, and then they go, oh my god, that thing's so cheap, let me go in there and buy a bunch of it. And screws the shorts up. So I'm just bringing it to your guys' attention. I know I like to talk about AMC. My goal is to keep you from losing money in AMC and to help you make money in AMC. But now that this has some retail attention, I'm not going to let this go without telling you guys about it. There's no fucking way I'm going to let all of you miss the opportunity, even if it doesn't go. What you could make if it does is worth way more than what you'd lose with how cheap this fucking thing is right now. And then no one's saying it's going to happen right now, today, or tomorrow. It's just the fact of this is as bottomed out as it can really get. This is about as cheap as you can get into it. From here, I mean, it's bankruptcy. It's done. It's a dead stock. That's all that's left for it to go down. There is nowhere for this thing to go but up. That's it. So I feel it my duty to present it to you all now that there is retail sentiment, there's retail interest in it, and it had a good day today. Today was a very good day for it. Looked very, very good. And, you know, with what's its nuts being right around the corner, the margin requirement filing, I really think that's what kind of screwed the pooch on this for them. I think a smaller hedge fund had to get out here. I think they didn't have a choice. This was a smaller play. This is one that they couldn't afford to keep on the books and be paying 25x for the position they had. It was just a waste for them, and I think they got out. And that triggered a fucking an alarm for retail. I said, oh, what the fuck happened there? What the hell is that? What stock is this? We'll see. But that right there, guys, that right there, that's fucking insane. This thing is like lucky to trade 2 million on an average day. Like it lucky. Yeah, see all the fucking not even a million for a lot of it. This shit just traded 80 some million today. Almost 82 million. That's craziness. Ain't no one ignoring that. There's no way anyone is ignoring that. So do what you will, guys. Do what you will. And gals. But if this thing blows up and you didn't get in it, don't fucking cry to me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it in my comments. Oh my God, I wish I listened to you when you were talking about Catapult. Because once again, what's the worst that happens? You lose a little bit of money because this shit is cheap. It is cheap. I tell you, today was my entry point. I've been watching this for a long time. Today was my entry point. Today is when I fucking got in this shit. And just like a fucking not even, I think it was like a 40-cent move. A 40-cent move made me a lot of money. So, take it how you want to take it, interpret it how you want to interpret it. Just like I said, if this thing, excuse me, if it does decide it wants to blow up, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it in my comments. I wish I listened. I wish I listened to you and got in early. Now it's $400. I'm just kidding. I have no idea how high it could go, but seriously, it doesn't matter. Any move from 5, anything over 10 is a great move. That's a great move, and that's a great game. But again, this shit is situated damn near like GME was before retail caught wind of it and blew that bitch up in January. That motherfucker. We'll see, guys. We'll see. We'll see. I don't want to get anyone all excited and shit, but these are rare opportunities that apparently are not as rare as we were led to believe they were. Like I said, I'm really starting to wonder if Adam Aaron is behind a lot of what's happened with AMC. I really am. Because these fucking plays are everywhere. They're fucking everywhere. They're just hidden. They're so well hidden. Remember I told you these guys can fucking adjust the short interest through derivatives? Yeah. They've had this bad boy laying low for a minute. I'd be happy with them covering this shit just going back up to 20. That'd be a good fucking gain right there. But the fact that there's almost double the amount of shares in the float that they're supposed to be as a whole leads me to believe there's a lot more than that. A lot more than that. So do y'all's thing. I'm out.